Okay then, so now let's start doing the user profile. So if I click the user profile, currently it's showing like this. So let's go ahead and open the user profile. So now let's import all the necessary things. So let me copy it and paste it. You just type all the import statement over here. Okay, and then all the import statements, I copied it and pasted it here. So this user saved pin query, user query, and user created pin query, you need to update it in your data.js. Go ahead and then I'll just simply copy and paste that query which I given below in the description. You just copy it and paste it over there. Okay, so these are just the same thing how we created the queries and all the just the repeated things. So that's why, to avoid typing again and again, I'm just going to paste it to save our times. Okay, so after the user query, I'm going to copy this saved and saved pin queries. Okay, right over here, saved pin query and saved created pin queries. To avoid confusion, I copied this entire data.js in the description. So copy and replace it in your data.js. Okay, so now let's start writing the your user profile. Okay, and inside this user profile, we need to have few states, and we need to fetch the UID from the param. So paste these lines. So I created the few states and all those things. Okay, don't worry about this, I'll explain all those things, what is this and what all those things. Okay, for the time being, just copy it and paste it. All this, just type all these things. Okay, I will explain when I'm going to do. So first we need to fetch the user information. So for that we are going to use the use effect to fetch the user informations. Okay, so here I'm going to pass the dependency. What is the dependency? That is going to be the user ID, which we are fetching from the param. Whenever this user ID is changing, you need to re-render this entire use effect. Okay, so I'm going to fetch the query const query is equals user query of user ID, fetch that thing, and then client dot fetch, pass that query over here, that will fetch the detail, then return a promise and will capture that data. Okay, and we will set that user state to our data dot 0. So now we have the user information in our user state. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, if there is no user, what I need to do, I just need to, if there is no user, if not user, I'm just going to return spinner with a message like loading user details. Save the changes. Currently we having the user information. So if I remove this not, if there is user, it will be loaded. If there is not, only we need to load this. So we having the user, so it's displaying this message. So we currently having the user informations. So let's start customizing our user profile. So class name, it's going to be the relative position, relative, and the padding bottom, it's going to be 2, and height is going to be full, and justify center and items center. Inside this user profile, of instead of the text, I'm going to create one more class division with a class name called flex column, and the padding bottom as 5. Okay, inside this division we are going to create one more division that is going to have a class name with a relative and flex column and MB7, margin bottom 7. Inside this, here we are going to display the banner with user details. Okay, so for that I'm going to create one division to display that banner, and this is going to be the flex and the flex column, and justify center items center. And inside this I'm going to divide in this show the image. I'm going to show the random image from the Unsplash. Okay, we are going to use the Unsplash API to show the random image. So class with full height, it's going to be 370, and then for the large device 2XL, height is going to be 510. Okay, and the shadow, it's going to be LG, and the object, it's going to be cover and rounded LG. Currently it shows an error, no issue, because we don't have that random function. So we need to create that random variable. So what I'm going to do is scroll to the top right after here. So const random is equals, so we need to have it. So http:// source dot unsplash unsplash .com/1600 star 900 slash question mark. Use the nature as a category, and I'm going to choose photography. You can choose whatever category you wish. Technology, all these things. Okay, so currently it shows we couldn't find that photo. Why? I think this big, it's not a star, it's X. So now that should fetch the random photo, and it will display the random photo over here. Whenever you refresh it, that will fetch the random photo, and it will display that random photo over here. Cool. What we need to do is, so right after this image tag, we need to display our user image. So right after this image, I'm going to display the user image. Okay, so instead of the source, I'm going to get the user dot image value, and the class name it's going to be rounded full, and then width width 20, height 20, shadow 2XL, object cover. Save the changes. Look at that, we're having that image over here, and we need to make it a little bit height, so minus margin top 10. That will be over here. Cool, that's perfect. Then what we need to do after this image, I need to display the user name. That's going to be user dot user name. Save the changes. That will display the username over there. Let's add some styles. Absolute, sorry, not absolute, font bold, and text 3XL, and then text center, margin top 3. Save the changes like this. So that's displaying the our username and everything. So right after here, we need to display the logout button. So we need to display the logout button. So let's have that button over there. So create a division, and that is going to be absolute. So top 2 and Z1, and then right 2. Okay, so inside here, that should be displayed only if the user ID is equals to user dot underscore ID. Then render this component. So we already added the Google login in our login component where it is the login. So go ahead and copy this Google login from here, and then go here and paste it. Okay, this, instead of Google login, we are going to use Google logout. Okay, and then client ID, everything is going to be same, and then button is everything is going to be same, And instead of this CSS classes, I'm going to display something different. BG white, background white, padding 2, rounded, full, cursor pointer, outline none, and shadow LG. Okay, and after that, I think that's more than enough. On click, render on click, props and everything. Instead of this button, instead of this, we are going to display AI outline logout. And then color, we are going to display color red, and font size we are going to display 21. And instead of these two, I'm just going to display on logout success, call the function called logout. Currently we don't have that function, so we need to create that logout function. So what we need to do is scroll up, and then after this user effect, I'm just going to call const logout is equals, open it. From the local storage, I'm just going to clear the all the information, local storage dot clear, and I'm going to navigate that user to the slash login. Okay, save the changes. Now you can see this button. If you click this, this will be logged out because the local storage everything will be cleared, so it will immediately navigated to the login screen. So go and test it out. This will definitely will work fine. Okay, so after this, what we need to do is we need to create two buttons over here. Okay, so right after this one and this one, two divisions. Right after the two divisions, we need to add the buttons. So here we need to created and save. So if the user click created, it's need to display all the posts created by him. If the user click save, it's need to display all the posts saved by him. So let's create that one now. Div class name, text center, margin bottom 7. Inside this, we are going to create a button, and that button is going to have a type of button, and then on click, okay, on click, I'm going to call an event, okay, event, and that is going to be set text. So we created the text as, so e dot target dot text content. We are getting the button text content, and we are setting, and we are sending it to the state. Okay, set content, and then we are sending the set active button as created as the active button. By default, created will be the active button. Okay, so we are setting the created as the active button. Okay, and inside this, right after here, I'm going to display the class name, a dynamic block, and then template string, open it. Okay, if this active button, if the active button is equals to created, this particular text, if it's equals to created, then what we are going to do, we are going to display the active button styles. That's the style, which object which we need to create now, active button styles. If it is not, we need to display not active button styles. That's nothing but the CSS values which we need to create, we not yet create over here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to copy that styles, and I'll paste it over here. So after the random image, after here, just, it's nothing but the CSS styles, BG red, text white, font bold, padding 2, round large, shadow, width, and outline none. For the not active styles, I'm having the common not active styles. If I save the changes, okay, currently I can see only a button over here, nothing inside there. What I need to do is, I'm going to add that button. Inside that button, what I need to do, right inside here, I need to type created. That will display the text created. Okay, So after that, I'm just going to copy that button one more time and I'm going to paste that thing. Okay, this time instead of created, I'm going to send it saved. Okay, here we are going to say saved. That will display the button over here. If I click this, that will be changed. If I click this, this will be changed. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to display the details and everything according to this particular thing. If it is created, we need to display that pins, all the created pins. If it is saved, we need to display all the saved pins. Okay, so right after this division, press enter, and here displaying the pins. So I'm just going to create a div, and that div is going to have a class with px2, and inside here I'm just going to have a masonry layout which we already have, and I'm going to pass the pins inside the pins. Okay, and then right okay, this need to be done when we need to done only if you having a pin detail. So only if I'm having a pin detail, I'm just checking pins. If the pins question mark dot length, length length, then open it. Otherwise, what you want to do? I need to display this. If it is not, I need to display like div no pins found. That's the thing I want to display. I just write few class over here. Flex justify center, items center, font bold, and then width full, text Excel, and then margin top to save the changes. Okay, currently you can see it's showing no pins saved. If I click created, okay, still it's showing no pins saved. Actually, I think so it's not working fine because we not yet added that functionality for that thing. What we need to do is we need to write that functionality for in the use effect. Okay, in the use effect we need to write that functionality. So what we need to do is this need to be re-rendered whenever the text is get updated, and right after here I'm going to create one more use effect, and then I'm calling it, and whenever the text and the user ID it's updating, you need to re-render this complete thing. Okay, enter it here. If the text if the text is equals to created, this one, if the text is equals to created, then const created, okay, const created pins query is equals user created pins query. So I need to pass the user ID into this query, and then I need to fetch the client dot fetch created pins query dot, then that will returns the promise. We will fetch that data and we will open it, and we will set the pins to our data. Okay, save the changes. Okay, so this will load. So currently now we can see that it's displaying all the pins which is created by the user. Okay, if it is not, else we need to create const saved pins query is equals user saved pins query, open it and pass the user ID into it, and then just do the same thing, copy it and paste it. Instead of created pins, pass saved pins. Save the changes. Now if I click saved, that will show you the saved pins detail. Look at that, how cool it is. So we successfully finished the user profile too, and all we have to do is just this search component. That's what we are going to do next.